Sergej Milinkovic-Savic is not anymore a target of the Bianconeri, not because Juventus didn't want him, but because the Serbian player decided to leave Italy to join Saudi Arabia. But Juventus will have to react. And Giuntoli, that was announced on the 7th of July 2023, I can guarantee you he didn't stop working, because he already took that eventually in consideration, and he already worked on making a list of 6 potential replacements for the number 1 target of Juventus, that was Milinkovic-Savic. 6 players, 3 from Serie A, 3 from abroad. We will talk about them. We'll talk about all these profiles without going too much in detail, but revealing you the names that can join Juventus to reinforce that midfield. And at the end of the video, of course, you will be the one that will give me your preference. Which player do you want to join Juventus? We'll also give you an update, of course, about Paul Pogba, about him being seduced by Saudi Arabia, what was his answer, and then we'll speak about Fabiano Parisi, that closer than ever is closer to join Fiorentina. And then, of course, the update about yesterday, the first day at La Continasa for the medical tests that are continuing at the moment. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I hope you're all doing well. I tell you, big menu today in today's video, but of course I kindly ask you to continue to support the channel, and you know it, the only thing that you can do to support the channel so that the videos are starting to go viral and we are always going over the 5,000 views like we did for the Lukaku video, is you putting a maximum of like. If you didn't yet, please subscribe to the channel if I am convincing you that this channel is what you need to be informed and entertained about Juventus. We start with Corriere dello Sport. I have to say that yesterday night when I opened Corriere dello Sport, the first page, I was a bit shocked. My first reaction was a bit of shock because I didn't really understand that big title, Alibaba e i 40 milioni. Alibaba and the 40 million. But if you are reading, they are saying non si accontentano. They are not satisfied. They want more. The Arabs, so the people from Saudi Arabia, are taking away from us also Milinkovic-Savic. What am I feeling when they are speaking about that with Alibaba e i 40 milioni, Alibaba and the 40 millions? Well, I have the feeling that they are fearing the unknown, because nobody was predicting Saudi Arabia to be that surprising, big, huge player that is able to offer a 0 more to every single player that they are approaching. Something that you can't compete to. You can't even dream to compete to. Not today, not even in 3, 5 or 10 years. So I feel that fear of unknown. But then, if you're going that low to start using Alibaba e i 40 milioni, Alibaba and the 40 million, that is clearly referring to that old story, books, movies, and so on from the past, that is Alibaba and the 40 thieves, at least I'm asking you to inform yourself a bit, to educate you a bit, because Alibaba, that story that all of us know, at least my generation, has nothing to see with Saudi Arabia. Alibaba has origin in Persia, and Persia, as far as I know, never went that big to enter Riyadh. But anyway, that's another story. So at least if you really want to, and if you are scared, and if you start being a bit offensive, try to educate yourself. Anyway, Lukaku is still there with the 2 logos of Inter and Juventus, because on Corriere dello Sport, I tell you, it's already the 3rd consecutive day, if not the 4th, that are really pushing in telling us that Lukaku is an objective of Juventus, that Lukaku to Juventus is a possibility. A bit less strong, a bit less powerful how they are reporting it, because now they are really saying it's a battle between Inter and Juve, while the past day it was really Juve is going full power, but they are also announcing another player on the team, and it is Paris Saint-Germain. Anyway, so it's a bit milder, it's not as strong, but on the other side we see Gazzetta dello Sport. Ragazzi, this is super funny, because Gazzetta dello Sport is speaking about Lukaku front page. It's not the first time that they are putting him without shirt, we know it. Lukaku c'è solo l'Inter. Lukaku, there is only Inter. And if you are going inside the pages, you see Lukaku saying, I want only Inter. I want only Inter, clear message. I never saw in my life a paper, a journalist, a source fighting so much for a player. Never in my life. We know that on 365 days, at least 320 of Gazzetta dello Sport, you have Lukaku on front page. Sometimes with a shirt, sometimes without shirt. The only other days that they are not speaking about him is when they are trying to manipulate the mass, when Juventus has off-the-field problems. Disaster. Anyway, now we enter the core of the video after 4 or 5 minutes, speaking about the reaction of Juventus in losing Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. Tuttosport is opening with Scippo Sergej, a steal of Sergei because he's running away. Reazione Juve, and you see immediately here on the left side of the page, you see Cope Manners. Is he the #1 target of Juventus? According to Tuttosport, yes he is, but not only, because we are already working on other names. So Cope Manners, 25 years old, from Atalanta, from the Netherlands, a player that has a contract until 2025, that will cost you a lot of money, but because he has only 2 years of contract, Juventus could possibly wait a bit, trying to sell the players that are on the unwanted player of Juventus. Yesterday I told you about that long list of 46 players, trying to sell them so that they cash in and go for Cope Manners, a player that last year scored 10 goals in Serie A, 4 assists, offensive midfielder that I particularly like. Personally, I really like Cope Manners, and I told you in the past few weeks that for me, Cope Manners would be that player that I would prefer instead of a Sergei. Then you have the fantasy, the new name, Samardzic from Udinese. Second season at Udinese. This season he scored 5 goals, 4 assists, has a contract until 2026. So it's a player that under 25 million euro, impossible to contact him, impossible to go to Udinese to say we want him. You know how difficult Udinese is, and we have these images of Molina and Udogie that Juventus was on these players, and at the end they went away. Tottenham and Atletico Madrid. Well, the player is 21 years old, left foot player that I particularly like. I think that Samardzic is that Giuntoli idea, the one that can surprise us, even if it's a bit different because you're already playing in Serie A. You know that Vidal story, the player that you are going to find, that you are still having doubts, you don't really know, but that can really surprise a lot of us. And then in Italy we continue with Joan Gonzalez, also him, young player from Lecce, 21 years old, right foot player, Spanish player, contract until 2027, only 1 goal and 3 assists, but a really first new season at Lecce where he did fantastically well. Not that much in terms of stats and goals, but that's the player that you can go for a cheap and that can be the revelation, the surprise. If you're speaking about the 3 other players that are not in Serie A, we are speaking about the player that, mamma mia, Gabri Veiga, 21 years old, Spanish player from Celta Vigo, contract long until 2026, 11 goals in La Liga with 4 assists. This is the player that is moving, that is triggering me. Going away from Serie A, not sponsoring with the black and white money Serie A, but going away and finding these talents, these under 21 players from Spain. Then another one, a bit more experienced, Mikel Merino, 27 years, left foot player from Spain, Real Sociedad, contract until 2025. Also here, shorter contract, a bit more power if you want to go over the negotiation. 2 goals, 9 assists. But of course, Real Sociedad want already to renew his contract, so you will have to be really fast if you want Mikel Merino. And then the last one, and that could possibly be an opportunity, a player linked to Milan, but at the moment Milan can't move really fast because they are orientated to go to the USA market, and that's why they don't have all the slots available, or at least they want to keep an available slot for an opportunity for USA player instead of going for a Japanese player. Well, Kamada, 26 years old, Japan player, ex-Frankfurt. Why am I saying ex-Frankfurt? Because the guy has at the moment no team. Free agent, 16 goals in total last season with 7 assists. Kamada is another one that is moving. You know, that special player that can come and that can change the way of Juventus. Then, is it an Allegri player? I am not sure, because that's a player that probably lack a bit of Serie A experience, a bit of a free player, a player that wants to have that freedom. So I'm not sure, but Kamada could possibly be a player. These players have not yet been contacted personally with the agent or with the club, because we were on Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, but this player can be the opportunity now on the list of Giuntoli. Now, there is another midfield that yesterday we were saying, can we lose him as well? Together with Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, we are speaking about Paul Pogba. But yesterday, L'Equipe, that is always informed about the French national team, L'Equipe French paper, first French paper, sport paper, was speaking about Paul Pogba, that even if he was seduced and attracted by Saudi Arabia, he said no, for a simple reason. He wants to play Euro 2024 with the national team of France. He wants to stay at Juve, and at the moment he said no. They are convinced about it. Paul Pogba stays at Juve. On the other side, you have Gazzetta dello Sport, always pointing out the negative side, because they are saying Milinkovic and Pogba, the destination is Saudi Arabia. Milinkovic we know, but why are they putting him in the highlight? Because he was the target of Juve. And then Paul Pogba, because he's a player of Juve, there is an offer that is a shocking offer of 100 million euro. Paul Pogba is really seriously taking into consideration and thinking about it. Juventus is waiting for the decision of the French player. You see, from L'Equipe that is saying no, he doesn't leave, he wants to stay at Juve. Gazzetta is saying yes, he will go there. I prefer the version of Tuttosport that is a bit like the channel, a bit more balanced, saying Juve, Scippo d'Arabia, steals from Saudi Arabia, with Milinkovic-Savic already gone. Sergei is leaving. Pogba has some doubts, and we know it, and that's what I always told you. Can I promise you that Paul will stay here at Juventus? No, at the moment no, but I will believe we will know more in the first day of August. Yesterday, anyway, it was the first day in La Continassa, medical test for everyone, or for a lot of players, and yesterday you had Fagioli and Pogba. They were at the J Hotel, and what was funny is that Fagioli, that of course is quite aware, or really well aware of what's happening on social media, took a picture of Pogba with that location, Jeddah that is in Saudi Arabia. Really funny actually to mock a bit what happened online with all these rumors of Pogba leaving for the weekend. Anyway, yesterday I told you, and I made a short about it, we had the first medical test of some players. Really great environment, atmosphere from the supporters that were there. Supporters that were really applauding Dusan Vlahovic and telling them and chanting them, you are one of us, stay with us. All the players were fantastic in giving selfies, autographs and so on. Then the young players, Sule, Kenan Yildiz and Huijsen, fantastically welcome as really future stars, and I'm sure, and you could see on their face, they were really emotional, especially the players from the next gen or under 19 like Yildiz or Dean Huijsen. I really appreciated, and I said it yesterday, the gesture of J Medical that gave bottle of water to all the people that were waiting there in the hot temperatures of Torino since 7 a.m. Now, Dusan Vlahovic, Gazzetta dello Sport, is not speaking about the smiles and him being super well in La Continassa for the medical test and happy and smiling with the supporters, but they are going towards the meeting between Giuntoli and Dusan with the Serbian player that is really still remaining a question mark, Erebus, and Chelsea that is thinking about making an offer for the player. Vlahovic in sospeso. Vlahovic parked. We need to take a decision about him if the right offer arrives. Is it true? Yes, but it's funny that all the news of Gazzetta dello Sport are going towards everyone will leave Juventus. Anyway, yesterday I told you was a fantastic environment and atmosphere at La Continassa with Perin that at a certain moment in front of the microphones and the cameras was saying, you know, I was here and I chose to become a goalkeeper because I didn't want to run, and instead this guy want me to run, making a face like, what is happening? Really funny. Now we go towards one of the last topics, Fabiano Parisi, that yesterday night all of the journalists, even Fabrizio Romano, was confirming that they found an agreement between Fiorentina and Empoli. Really low offer. 10 plus 1 from what I heard, 5-year contract, 1.5 salary per year for the Italian player. Is it a big miss from Juve? Probably yes, because it's a player that Juventus wanted. At the moment, he didn't agree yet to join Fiorentina. At the moment, some people are saying he signed a pre-contract, which means totally nothing, because Juventus told him the entry mercato at the moment of Juventus is blocked. If you can wait, we can restart the negotiation with Empoli. Otherwise, we have to give up. I already gave my opinion about that. What are the other options? And the first name on that list of Giuntoli for the right back position, because Parisi was left, but the right back position is Holm from Spezia, with Juventus that wants to go until 6 million euro plus some bonuses. Not a lot, but because we have Napoli and Inter that are on the player, we can have the first competition between Giuntoli and his ex-club Napoli. But he really wants to go for Holm, that according to him could be the player that can reinforce Juventus, especially if you are thinking to go towards a 4-man defense. West Ham and Zakaria at the moment not. Yesterday during the live at a certain moment I told you some backstage story about how it happened and why it happened, but according to the first rumors, Juventus would have closed the deal for 50 million euro to sell him. Now we are speaking about a deal between 20 and 25 million euro, which would be an increase of 5 if not 10 million euro for the player from Switzerland. And I finish with some fun news. Yesterday, we had the first official cover of FC24, change of name for FIFA 23 that goes towards FC24, with a lot of players, old players, vintage players, icon players, women, first team players. You see a lot of players that were there in that picture. The thing that probably not a lot of people they saw is that it's not the finalist of the Champions League Italian team that was there represented with Inter. It was not the one that played fantastically well, that won the Scudetto deservedly, Napoli. No, if they had to put one to represent Italy, it is Federico Chiesa. Probably they also put another Italian ex-player, ex-coach, or at the moment is the new coach of Sampdoria. It is Andrea Pirlo. Look at the face of Andrea Pirlo. Mamma mia, total disaster. Anyway, this was it for me, ragazzi. Let me know what you think about the new cover of FC24. Let me know the thing that you're thinking about the 6 midfielders. Who is your preferred one? I'm really curious to read the name. In the community tab, I already made a vote that you can go up to 4. So I chose 4 of them. Let me know who is your preferred one. I'm really curious. Which, if you were the friend of Giuntoli, what would you say to Giuntoli? Go for one single player out of these 6. Think about it and let me know. Grazie, forza, Juve.